This is the afternoon edition of the Weather Xtreme video. This is for Tuesday, 11/11. It's Veterans Day. Thanks to all the veterans for their service, and thanks to you for watching this. A lot to talk about as the Arctic front arrives tonight. And what about the chance of snowflakes on the backside of this storm as the weekend wraps up? A lot of buzz about that, so let's go. Let's talk about it. Beautiful today. This is the view coming from Cheaha State Park. Seeing a lot of low 70s up on the map today. This will be the last really mild day probably for the rest of the month. Up in northwest Alabama, clouds are increasing. That is the Hamilton Skycam. And that shot is coming from Research Park in Huntsville on a partly sunny, very mild November afternoon. But boy, that is a very cold look developing over the United States. I get cold just looking at that upper air pattern, but the cold air not quite here. And yes, indeed, we have low 70s. In fact, look at Tuscaloosa, 75. Columbus, Mississippi, 79. But hey, look up there at Memphis. Yeah, the front has come on through there. They're down to 49. So that is a 30-degree swing from Columbus, Mississippi, up to Memphis, Tennessee. Around the nation, man, it's tough. Temperatures are barely above zero at midday in parts of Montana and Wyoming, where the surface pressure is about 1,050 millibars up there. And again, you can clearly pick out that front. It looks like it'll be entering the northwestern corner of Alabama about 6 o'clock this evening. And in advance of that, we'll see a little light rain tonight, but like we've talked about, most places not getting enough to measure. This is the rain for the next 5 days, valid through Sunday evening. So this counts the rain we get Sunday. And on Sunday, we might see rain amounts of 3/4 of an inch. This could be a fairly good rain. Heavier amounts from Birmingham south, the amounts lighter as you go north. And, of course, the big question is, will there be snow on the northern flank of all of that? And that'll be one of the things we talk about here as we go along. All right, let's take a look. The GFS, the Global Forecast System, this is the 12Z run, valid at 12 noon tomorrow at 500 millibars. And what you see is what you get. A very cold upper air look across the country. Tomorrow for us, I think the sky will be mostly cloudy. The sun probably peeking out at times tomorrow afternoon, and the high in the lower 50s. North of Birmingham, they'll be in the 40s all day, and that is a 1,048 millibar high over Wyoming, feeding the air into Alabama. Tomorrow, this is Thursday, highs drop in the 40s, and we'll start the day below freezing Thursday morning. The sky will be bright and sunny, and this is Friday. Friday morning will be very cold. Mid-20s are likely. The high Friday only in the middle 40s around here. We ought to be in the mid to upper 60s here in mid-November. And the day will be bright and sunny. No clouds, no rain, no snow. So high school football games Friday night. Yeah, man. Cold as a well digger's backside in upstate Alaska, with temperatures in the 30s for those games. This is Saturday as we start the weekend. Now, Saturday morning's going to be cold. Mid-20s are likely. You know, the ESPN game day guys are in Tuscaloosa for the Bama-Mississippi State game. It's going to be very cold out there Saturday morning. For kickoff for that game, we'll probably see temperatures at or just over 50. But in the second half, when the sun goes down, you'll go right back in the 40s in a heartbeat. Auburn over in Athens, Georgia, Saturday evening, clear, cold. 40s likely for that game, maybe upper 30s by the final whistle. And then here comes our wave on Sunday. Rain increases across the state. Now, Sunday morning as the rain begins, I could see maybe a few ice pellets as initially the air will be drier and we could see some evaporative cooling. But the bulk of the day Sunday is just going to be wet. And this could be a good rain. A surface low is just south of Mobile Bay. But on the northern flank of this, you can clearly see potential for some mischief. This is Sunday evening at 6 o'clock, coming off the new parallel GFS. This is a new high-resolution version of the GFS model. Much better grid resolution. It's got the surface low just south of Mobile Bay, 1,014 millibars, and a soaking rain for most of Alabama. Sunday looks cold and wet with temperatures in the 40s all day. We'll probably sit in the low to mid-40s with rain. Just a miserable cold day. The rain-snow line, based on the GFS, would be roughly along Interstate 40, Memphis to Nashville. So for those two cities, a very close call, whether it's going to be rain or some type of freezing or frozen precipitation. But again, let's just make it clear for us Sunday, cold and wet. Maybe a few ice pellets early Sunday morning as it begins, but just a rainy day. Now, this is the deal. On the backside of this storm, the GFS moves the storm off the Atlantic coast, and it strengthens, maybe a nor'easter-type storm, and you can see that swath of snow on the backside of the precipitation shield, and it extends down into the northern part of Alabama. And we have seen very good consistency in this idea in the GFS. And out of respect to that, we're going to introduce the possibility of rain changing to light snow over about the northern third of the state late Sunday night or Monday morning before it all ends. This is a look at the snow depth coming off the GFS Monday evening, and it's trying to put down 1 inch of snow at places like Decatur and Huntsville, and a little bit, about a half inch for Cullman. Nothing for Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, Gadsden. And you know this is voodoo here. Goodness, we have limited skill sets in dealing with winter storms a day in advance, much less 5 days in advance. But again, the model has been very consistent in this idea. And considering the anomalously cold air, very unusual for the season, I think this is very possible. So we're going to introduce that chance of the rain possibly changing to light snow before ending late Sunday night or Monday morning, and possibly some light accumulation up in the Tennessee Valley. This will probably change. We all know that. This is a larger look at the GFS, a wider view, and you can see the better snows, the 2-inch plus amounts are in the shades of blue to the northeast of here. And we should also mention the European has no snow for us. So this is not a locked-in-stone thing. We all know that 5 days in advance, but I think the signals are there based on climatology, past events like this, that we'll just need to mention that possibility. We'll watch it as it gets closer. During the day, Monday, everything is out of here. It's cold, and this is Tuesday. Another surge of cold air comes in. In fact, it looks very cold. In fact, let me show you the numbers coming off the ensembles. It's got a high of 43 on Tuesday of next week. Monday at 46, Tuesday 43. This is for Birmingham. And again, we go way down in the 20s. So early next week, very cold. And, the 70s we saw today, forget that. No sign of that anytime after today. Let's go through a little bit deeper in the month. This is November 20th, Thursday, November 20th, Thursday of next week. And by golly, if this is right, that's another winter weather close call. But that looks like a good soaking rain event for us. And then look at this. On the 25th, this is Tuesday the 25th, a couple of days before Thanksgiving. That looks like a severe weather look. You had a surface low over Missouri with a big batch of nasty storms coming in here. And on the 27th, we got broad troughing to the west. That big storm is lifting out. So a lot of uncertainty later in the month, but I think the screaming message, at least for the next 10 days or so, temperatures stay way below average. That's a lock. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video today. We'll have notes in the blog. Next video here by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. If you can't catch us this evening on the live stream or the television side, ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless.